The Chief Executive of the NHS Confederation, good morning.
Good morning.
All of that paints a pretty bleak picture, doesn't it? How bad is it as far as you're concerned?
So this report's a helpful dose of reality around the challenges that we face in the National Health Service. We've been saying for some time that we face the biggest challenges of a generation in building and developing sustainable services for the future. What the report also does is set out a number of things that national bodies need to do if we're going to create the conditions in which local trusts can deliver in the future.
Right. Well, just tell me, I mean, you represent the majority of NHS commissioners. Why is it so difficult to balance the books?
It's quite a simple position, really. Demand and the cost of meeting that demand has outstripped the income that the NHS has received and the efficiencies that it's made. And that's been the case for a number of years. And if you look at the report in detail, what you see is that the financial position for providers, NHS trusts and others, has been one where they've been making a surplus. That's gone down each year, has gone into a deficit, and that deficit has increased.
Getting bigger and bigger, and that's the worry about all of this. The government's saying that they've invested £6 billion up front, or they will have done by next year of extra funding. Is that not helping at all?
It will help next year. So what we've been saying is we've got a fighting chance to actually make a difference to the way that care is delivered, which is the only way we're going to balance the books. Because if you look at what I've just been saying, if the position is deteriorating by about £1 billion a year, we're delivering care in ways which we can't afford. So there's two things that need to happen. The first is that next year we need to start to stabilise that position by making sure as much money goes to providers as possible. And we need to start to put some of that money into changing the way that we deliver care, because we need to deliver more support that's targeted and tailored to older people's needs in the community. We need to focus on prevention, and we need to make sure that hospitals are in a position where they can do the things that they need to do.
Have we got to the point where patients have to take more responsibility for themselves and their own health? It's something that we've talked about frequently on this programme, but when you hear about the dire financial straits that so many trusts are facing, you do get to the conclusion, or come to the conclusion, that where does the individual lie in all of this, don't you?
So that's part of the solution, but it's not the whole of the solution. We should never blame patients for making rational choices about where they go in the service. And what we've done is create quite a complex set of arrangements for people. What we would say is that we back the 5-year forward view, the Stevens plan, that says prevention and the public's health is part of the answer. We're very disappointed that the Chancellor has decided to cut public health budgets each year. We also believe that joining up care around older people's needs, because over 65s make up half of admissions to hospitals and they deserve to be better supported in the community, that's part of the answer. And that our hospitals working in ways which are more efficient is part of the answer. But we can't do that if we don't have the conditions. And as the NAO say, national bodies have failed to set a financial set of arrangements this year which we've been able to work against. The NHS has been planning in the short term rather than the medium term, and there's been conflicting priorities from arm's length bodies like Monitor and the CQC, which have made the problem worse.
Thank you very much, Rob Webster, who's Chief Executive of the NHS Confederation.